Okay, so welcome Year 11 to my last assembly with you. I know you'll probably have a last assembly, possibly with Miss Edwards, etc. But this is the last time I'm probably going to speak to you. And firstly, well done and thank you for the hard work that you've put into this term. And I've genuinely seen how hard you've been working, and it's been, it's been really reassuring to see how seriously you've taken things. So thank you for that. This is just some final advice or guidance that I think you need to know. And some of it will be a little dull. I apologise for that in advance, but it is going through stuff that's really relevant and important to you. So this is where we are now. You've had assessments galore. Whatever my own personal feelings. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to say as well, Year 13 may well be viewing this assembly because some of it's relevant to them. So I'm mainly talking to Year 11, but it's also appropriate for Year 13. And all of you have been doing loads of assessment. And whatever my own personal feelings about the way this has been organised, it has given the opportunity, and we've tried to maximise that opportunity for you to provide the evidence to show us what you're capable of, which was the whole point of the process, which means effectively it should be fairer in some ways than exams, because exams are a sort of a high stakes model of assessing people. The next step is that you need to know your evidence, and I've asked staff to make sure they're sharing with you the cohorts or class evidence that they're using for their folders, and I'm going to come back to that in a bit. But if you think that there is something that's being used that effectively the teacher hasn't taken into account an illness or access arrangements or whatever, you need to talk to them about that this week. It's really important that you have that conversation so that the teacher can consider what you're saying and consider whether other evidence can be substituted. If we do substitute evidence, we have to give a variation for that, and we have to write paperwork out to say why we're doing that. It's not a simple thing, but it can happen. You need to declare the work is all yours, and we will need to do the same. And that's in our policy, and it's about malpractice. Same way that people can't cheat in an exam effectively or can't plagiarise in an exam. It's the same principle that goes for the work that we're submitting for you. It's not a major thing in as much as I would expect it to be the case that the work is yours. But if it isn't, now's the time to say something. Now, then we will give the teacher assessed grades, and the staff will be submitting these at the end of this term. They'll be moderated start of next term. We will do dip checking and moderation up to about June the 16th, when we'll be sending these off. They've got to be in by June the 18th. I don't intend to leave it till the very last minute to press the button in case anything goes wrong. And just to remind you, those teacher assessed grades are given for a number of reasons. They're cohort or class based. They are not individual cherry picked pieces of work. They have to cover a large section of the course such that you can achieve your next steps to, if you were to do A-level, etc. They have to be done under the right conditions. We have to take those conditions into account when we decide on the weighting of that evidence. And so this holistic judgment the teacher's made will have to take those conditions into account. If you've done something in very controlled conditions like an exam, that would be different than if you've done it as homework, for instance. So these things are taken into account as well. It doesn't mean they're ignored, it just means they're considered. They'll be moderated within departments at whole school level, and we have to be cognizant of our 3-year results for each subject when we look at the distribution of those grades. So there is an awful lot in the process of going from the evidence folder to actually pressing the button and saying these are the teacher assessed grades. And even then, there is moderation that takes place at an exam board level. So there's a lot in this. It isn't like last year. Very, very different, very rigorous. On the website, in the Year 11 support, in the support and guidance page, which is on the learning area of the website, there is more information. There's various policies and links to other documents. You might want to have a look at that. And then the folders will be produced and stored. There are going to be huge amounts of folders. It's going to take up 2 whole rooms for Year 11 and Year 13. And within those folders will be a huge number of cover sheets, paperwork, effectively, that justifies the conditions, all that stuff that I've just gone through. So again, it's taken pretty seriously, and we will have to send a sample of those off to the exam boards to be moderated themselves. And then, there'll be more high-level moderation that I've mentioned already. Point is that, you can't know your teacher assessed grade at this stage. Even if you've looked through your evidence and you think, that's what these grades were, they might not end up being exactly there. You might have an idea, but they could be different. And that's the point to make. So what do they represent? Well, it's a holistic best fit judgment that is fair, objective, on the evidence selected across the course in the context of the school's past performance. That's pretty much it. It has to be objective and fair. What these grades are meant to be is our effectively best judgment about your ability level, were there to be national exams, were the things to take place normally. They are not a prediction, and they are not cherry-picked evidence. It's not like us looking for you to give you the best grade. It's about what we think you would get, were this to be a normal scenario based on the evidence that we have. We're not allowed to give you the benefit of the doubt or select alternative evidence without a good reason. So that's why I'm saying talk to people if you think any of the evidence doesn't fit with or we don't know something about the conditions under which it was produced. Over to you, Mr. Mulligan.
Good morning to you all. GCSE results day is Thursday the 12th of August. We've got A-level results day 2 days before, but the same advice is for both year groups. We will give all the results out from 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll let you know in terms of when to come in terms of your forms before you come in. The main advice I want to give you on results day is please do not worry beforehand. What to do is come into school during your allotted time with the rest of your form. There will be staff available to help and support you during that period. Please do not leave on that day until you have spoken to one of us. There will be lots of teachers available. There'll be senior staff available. We'll be here to help you. So once again, I want to just repeat that to you. Please do not leave school on that results day. If they've gone brilliantly fantastic, if they haven't, then that's fine as well. Please speak to us. Whatever questions you have, we will help you. The main thing is don't go home and don't worry. What to do is go home and be happy that you've sought advice and you've got the right support. When you get your results, we'll be here to help you, but we can only give the results to you. If you're unable to collect the results yourself, then you need to let us know in writing who will collect them, and then we can give the results to that person on results day, but we need your permission to do so. Once again, between now and when you come into us on the 10th of August for A-level or the 12th of August for GCSE, please keep talking to us. And on results day, please do not go home worried or stressed. Speak to us and we will help you. That's what we're here for. Thank you very much. And once again, good luck to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mulligan. Very good advice there. Okay, so to carry on, it's important that you know the process of appeals or understand it. I'm not saying it's something that I particularly want to happen. I'm hoping that if we can get to the point at the end of this term where you know what your evidence is, that we've gone all these processes, that appeals won't ever be necessary. But nevertheless, it's important that you know what's entails with that sort of process. So there are 2 stages that are in our policy that are given to us by the JCQ, which is the Joint Council for Qualifications, and by Ofqual. So stage 1 is a centre review. So the first appeal is to us, and that's to check for an administrative error, a procedural error, so that we've sent off the wrong data or something along those lines, and that we've acted based on our centre policy, your evidence, and the special circumstances, any special circumstances that might exist. So that's the first stage. If you are unhappy with that, then you can appeal to the exam board. That comes through us still. And the appeal here is, and the wording is important, an unreasonable exercise of academic judgment, or that we didn't follow our centre policy or didn't take account of special circumstances or an exam board error, any of those things. Now, that first one is important, unreasonable exercise of academic judgment. It isn't because somebody else could interpret things differently, and that's important when you think about that. It's that the way that it's been interpreted is unreasonable. Now, I would like to think we know you and that we want the best for you and that our judgment would be reasonable. Obviously, you've got a right to an appeal on that, but be careful. And that's my next point, which is remember, there is guidance on our school website. Now is the best time to have these conversations for exactly the reasons I've just said. Your grade can, and this is the important one you need to understand, very different to last year. If you appeal to the exam board, your grade can stay the same. It can go up, but it can this year also go down. So if the exam board look at the evidence and decide, actually, we've been too generous, they can put the grade down. That didn't happen last year. They only allowed appeals for things to go up. Okay, so just bear that in mind. It doesn't mean if you consider you need to go down that road, you don't do it. It just means you need to understand that there is a risk involved in doing it. And don't automatically appeal because you haven't got the grade, especially maths and English. If you think you haven't got back into the sixth form because you haven't got your maths or your English, then speak to somebody, as Mr. Mulligan said. It is, I wouldn't say it's usual or normal, but it does happen that we have students coming to the sixth form who haven't got their maths or English. A number, I think about 5 students have retaken it this year and have achieved their maths or English at the grade they want. And that does happen. So speak to somebody first if that's the reason that you're most concerned. Okay, this is all on the website. It's on the support and guidance page. It's on the documentation. So you can have a look at that if you want. But that goes through that whole process. Like I say, hopefully it won't be necessary. If it is, you've got that you can go and have a look at. Transition. So I don't think, Mr. Bryn, did you want to talk through this? Or do you want me to talk through it? Are you here? No, I'll carry on. Okay, so the Year 12 induction days are on Monday 21st, 22nd and 23rd. Now, that we don't normally do that. It's normally a one-day thing. What we wanted to do this year, because you've missed quite a lot of the year, is give you a chance to really try some of your A-level subjects. So you will be going to some of your A-level lessons, and they will run across the normal school day, as well as intermixed with it, some talks from your head of sixth form, from outside speakers, etc. And the purpose is to get a real taste of sixth form life through lessons in your chosen subjects, and ultimately for you to be able to decide if it's not right for you, you might decide to do something else. It's not too late to change. There isn't any need to wear school uniform on these days, but sixth form dress code, which is smart casual, is expected because you're now sixth formers. So on the sixth form section of the school website, you'll see what that means. You've seen sixth formers around, you know broadly what they should be wearing. If students are coming in tracksuits, we generally either send them home or there's a reason for it. So it's smart casual, and I think you all know what that is. Some career support will be available as well on Thursday the 24th. It's always available, to be honest, but we will be inviting people in who we know maybe aren't coming back to us, etc., just to make sure that they've had all the support that they need. And summer work will be set. So the last of your subjects when you're doing your A-level, we will be setting some summer preparation work. It won't be a huge amount, but it will be something to keep you ticking over. And that's to help stop what's called the summer learning loss. You've actually missed a large chunk of in-class education this year. And that will give you an opportunity to make sure that you are ready for your A-level courses, which is what we want. So what to do over the summer? This is a more general thing. So the first thing is keep fit and healthy. There's Miss Brooker's going to mention something in a minute, or she's given me some words to say, which will cover that. But just keep fit and healthy. Don't sort of stew in your bed all day. It won't help you. Get some work experience. It's a good time. If you want to go, and especially if you want to do certain occupations, if you want to go into engineering or law or medicine or something like that, they do now, like to see work experience. Universities, even for some of the more select courses, want to see work experience. This is a perfect opportunity. You've got a big chunk of time to go out and ask somebody, to go and do a few days work experience at a hospital, at an engineering plant, whatever. Now, they have to do insurance and all those sorts of things, but it can happen. Prepare for your next steps. Think about what you're going to do next. That's important too. Really check in your own mind whether you pick the right A-levels. Think about what universities you want to, start to think to apply to, because actually that will creep up very quickly on you. It doesn't wait till year 13. You have to do that at the end of year 12. So have a think about that. Make a summer bucket list. Things that you want to do. I drive in every morning listening to Chris Evans on Virgin Radio, and he talks about the 3 things you're going to do this week. He sets himself, and he gets people to set themselves their 3 things for the summer. Think about maybe, 10 things you want to try and achieve over the summer and tick them off. Do something that makes you a better person. If you're a musician, develop your musical ability. If you want to be a writer, write something. If you're a sports person, develop your sporting, work at it. Do something that makes you better at what you are and what you like and what you enjoy. Spend some time with the people that matter. I know we've had a lot of time at home, but it creeps up on you when you'll leave to go to university. You'll look back and you'll think, why didn't I do X, Y, Z? So whether that be your friends, your colleagues, your family, whatever. Now, Mrs. Brooker's advice. She's not here. She's in a meeting, so I'm going to read it to you. We all feel better when we have some sort of routine. I'm not saying you have to get up at the same time you usually would for school, but laying in bed till 2 p.m. every day just throws your body clock out of sync and doesn't make you feel great. So get a decent amount of sleep each night, eat properly, drink enough to hydrate, a little bit of self-care and keeping up with personal hygiene, haircuts, clean clothes goes a long way in making you feel good about yourself. And don't forget to go out, exercise, fresh air, actually talk to people and meet up safely with your friends. Don't just communicate in a virtual way. And finally, please remember we're still here for you. Ms. Brooker sent out information last week about different supports, websites and apps, the different helplines there are. But remember that we're also here in school and you can contact us if you need us to get in touch. Have a great summer, and I'm looking forward, that's Miss Brooker, to seeing you during induction week and again in September. Thank you for the words from Miss Brooker there. So final bit of advice, we've got a couple of minutes left. Be available for the first 2 weeks after half term. I'm not, I don't want you hanging on the end of the phone, but we may need to get in contact with you about your folder or your evidence or whatever, if there are any questions. So just be available. Make sure we've got a number, right contact number for you. Attend transition and think about your future. So we've gone out of our way this year to try and give you a different experience for transition. So please take us up on that and use it wisely. Stay focused, stick to routines, as Miss Brooker said. Don't presume too much. We don't know quite how this is going to turn out this year. It's first time for us. It'll be the first time for anybody, and it'll probably be the last time. So we don't presume anything. Don't presume you've done badly. Don't presume you've done really well. We can't know that at this stage. Have a break and look after yourself. Do the work set and avoid that summer learning loss. If it's not just the work we're doing, make sure you do something every day. Read some books. Do something to keep your brain ticking over. It's really important. And think carefully about before appealing. Make sure it's for the right reasons, and make sure that you're sure that there's that's the right course of action for you. Look forward to coming back as sixth formers when life will be different. You have to remember that year 11, the jump between year 11 and year 12 is for me like no other jump in your educational career. I think even the jump between 13 and university probably, in my mind, isn't as great, both in terms of demands on you in the courses, but in how you're treated and in your relationship with staff. So we're looking forward to having you back. It will be a different experience, and we do expect you to be sixth formers, which is different to lower school. And we are all very much looking forward to seeing you again soon. Mr. Mulligan, did you want to say any last words if you're there?
I was just going to say good luck to you all. And as I said earlier, please come and speak to us, whether you're away from school or during that results day or results week. Please come and speak to us. We're open and we're here to help you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. For any reason. So anyway, have a good last week. The last thing to say is you still are here. Like I said to you all individually as I've gone around the forms, the reason you're here is we want to maximise the chances of students in your class being able to give us the evidence to show what they're capable of. So please don't disrupt lessons or don't distract from that, because there will be people, if it's not you, who need that time and want to use it wisely. Have a good last week. Let's finish on a high, and let's look forward to start transition weeks shortly, and us all smiling and getting on well together. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Year 11.